Have you ever felt this strange gap? On one level, you may deeply resonate with spirituality. Maybe you have discovered self-realization, presence, surrender, effortless being, or non-duality. Maybe something in you has touched a deeper truth. You may have seen that you are not just the separate self. You may have felt moments of peace, spaciousness, silence, or freedom. But at the same time, you still have a human life. There are bills, there is work, there are decisions, there are relationships, there is money, there is uncertainty, there is the question of what to do with your life. And sometimes this can feel very confusing because the pain is not necessarily, I don't understand spirituality. The pain may be, I have touched something true, but I don't know how to live from it. Or I know I am not only this separate self, but this human life still needs direction. And I think this is a very real bridge, the bridge between effortless being and human direction. Sometimes when we first discover spiritual teachings, there can be a feeling of relief. We hear things like, you are already whole. You are not your thoughts. Let go, surrender, be present. There is nothing to become. And on a deep level, these things can be true. They can bring a real sense of peace. They can soften the mind. They can release some of the pressure we used to carry. But something I have been noticing is that spiritual understanding alone does not automatically answer every practical questions in life. It may be not immediately tell you what job to do. It may not immediately solve your financial situation. It may not immediately tell you whether to move country, start a business, leave a relationship, change your career, or create something new. And this does not mean the spiritual insight was wrong. It means there is another layer of integration. There is the truth of being, and there is also the movement of human life. I think many people feel confused because after touching something deeper, the old way of living may no longer feel right. Maybe old ambition feels too forced. Maybe comparison feels painful. Maybe chasing success only for approval does not make sense anymore. Maybe the identity you used to live from starts to feel too small. But at the same time, doing nothing also doesn't feel right. You still need to eat. You still need to pay rent. You still need to make choices. You may still want to create, serve, build, love, earn, express, and grow. So there can be this strange in-between phase. You no longer want to live from fear, but you also do not yet know how to live from clarity. You no longer want to force life, but you also do not want to avoid life. You may feel inwardly more free, but outwardly still unsure. And I think this is where many spiritually aware people can feel lost, not because they are failing, but because they are standing at the bridge. One misunderstanding I had before is that effortless being might mean life should become easy all the time. Like if I truly surrender, then I should never feel confused. If I'm really present, then practical problems should somehow disappear. If I understand non-duality, then maybe I should not care about money, work, direction, or goals. But now I feel differently. Effortless being does not mean avoiding real-life problems. It doesn't mean pretending bills do not exist. It doesn't mean we never make plans. It doesn't mean we never take actions. It doesn't mean we become passive. To me, effortless being means meeting real life from a different place. Not from panic, not from comparison, not from proving, not from survival pressure, but from something quieter, clearer, more honest, more grounded. It means the action may still happen, the decision may still happen, the work may still happen, but the inner energy behind it is different. I think one big misunderstanding of spiritual awakening is that we may start blaming the outside world as the cause of our suffering. We may think, my job is the problem, the relationship is the problem, my environment is the problem, my circumstances are the reason I can't feel free. And sometimes, of course, practical changes may be needed. Sometimes we do need to live in a healthy environment. Sometimes we do need to make different choices, but there's also a subtle trap. The trap is using spirituality as a reason to avoid life. We may meditate all day but not face the conversation we need to have. We may talk about surrender, but secretly avoid making a decision. We may say we are being present, but actually look away from the practical problems in front of us. We may believe that being spiritual means staying away from anything difficult, uncomfortable, or ordinary. But maybe awakening is not here to help us escape life forever. Maybe awakening gives us a secret pause, a temporary space away from the noise of circumstances, relationships, roles, and identities. A space where we can finally look within, not to reject the world, but to understand ourselves more honestly. What do I truly want to experience? What do I truly want to create? What kind of life feels aligned? And what kind of person am I naturally becoming? What do I want to bring into this world? Awakening gives us the space to step back, not so we can escape life, but so we can return to life more consciously. And then, when something becomes clearer inside, we do not stay outside the river of life forever. We return, we jump back into life, but this time, not with the same fear, not with the same resentment, not with the same resistance. We return with more faith, more joy, more confidence, more courage, more trust that life is not against us. The challenges may still be there, the job, the relationship, the responsibility, the uncertainty, the ordinary tasks may still be there, but something inside is now backing us. A deeper stillness, a clearer knowing, a quiet strength. So awakening is not an excuse to disappear from life. It is a way of meeting life more fully. The river of life is not the enemy. The river of life is where awareness learns to move. If you have touched something true spiritually, but you still feel confused about your human life, I just want to say, maybe you are not failing. Maybe nothing has gone wrong. Maybe you are simply in the integration phase, the phase where inner freedom is learning how to become human direction, the phase where stillness is learning how to move, the phase where awareness is learning how to live through work, money, creativity, service, and ordinary choices. You do not have to choose between being spiritual and being practical. You do not have to choose between inner peace and the real life direction. Maybe the path is learning how to let both exist. Effortless being can meet real life. Inner stillness can guide outer direction. And perhaps the people who feel lost after touching self-realization are not behind. They are simply learning how to let inner freedom become human direction, not by escaping ordinary life, not by forcing themselves into a new identity, but by meeting life again with more clarity, more honesty, more softness, and more trust. Maybe this is the bridge. Not leaving life behind, but learning how to live it from a deeper place. In the next video, I want to explore the more practical side of this bridge. How do we actually find direction after spiritual awakening? How do we look at our old life differently? And how do we use our past identity, skills, relationships, and experiences as resources instead of rejecting them? How do we listen to life without forcing or escaping? And how do we take small, honest steps from a more grounded inner place? because awakening is not only about stepping back from life, it is also about returning to life with more clarity, faith, joy, confidence, and courage. So if you want to explore more practical ways to navigate life after awakening, you are very welcome to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so we can continue this journey together. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.